kidding. Okay, so look, I've got 4 steps, 5 steps here. I'm just going to walk through these really quick, and I'm going to tell you briefly. So I'll take like a minute or so and move through this. If you find this confusing or overwhelming, please don't worry. Just ask for help. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Sasha is suggesting something to adjust your name in Discord. So you're saying not mainnet account, but actually your first name and then a pipe character and then your mainnet account, Sasha? Is that what you prefer for the names?
It doesn't matter. Like I personally prefer to call people like with their first names and NEAR account. And this is mandatory here. This is why we are here. Like when people ask when do we use NEAR, we use it right here.
Okay, so definitely you want the mainnet account in the name. And then if you also want to use your first name, you're welcome to do that, right? But that's not mandatory, you're saying. Some people may want to remain pseudonymous, for example, right? And that's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us your name. If you can imagine that, we're working together and I don't need to know your name. I just need your attention, actually. And I need your commitment to the work. Your name is your own if you want to keep it. That's fine. I can respect that. So this is a brief demo. You're going to need one mainnet account. If you don't already have one, please let me know before we get off this call. I'd love to send you 5 NEAR to get set up to do that. 2 testnet accounts, wallet.testnet.near.org. Create a couple of testnet accounts. You'll have them, no problem. The faucet funds you with 200 NEAR. Wallet.testnet.near.org. You can do it right now. Use the email recovery method. It's the fastest thing. It's not secure, but it's super fast. All right. So the technologies that we're going to need: Node.js, Git, and NEAR CLI. If you're familiar with Node, this is how you install NEAR CLI. If you're not, please ping me later. And that's all the text that's here. I'm going to split my screen left and right. I'm going to use environment variables to manage some of the details. And you can try, export, we're all equal in this life if you want, whatever your variable names are, key value pairs with an equal in between, no space. And then if you get an error about missing environment variable, it's like the all caps thing, right? And you can echo $sign to dereference the variable or read the value, whatever. And then whatever the name of the variable is, all caps, okay? So this is basic sort of bash and tools. If you're uncomfortable at this point, no stress at all. This isn't a prerequisite. Just keep asking. I'll gladly help you with it. On the left-hand side, I'm going to clone the thanks repo. It's github.com/learn thanks. So this, you should know now, is the GitHub organization that we're using. There is a repository called thanks, and that's the one I'm going to be demonstrating for you. There's another one called NEAR account utils that I'll be using for visibility, reporting, right? Inspecting the state of the blockchain. So that I just posted into the chat, the github.com/learn NEAR is the GitHub organization. And I'm going to be cloning both of these repos. On the left-hand side, nothing for the first few minutes. I'm just going to play with a couple of commands: NEAR CLI, NEAR state. You can do your account.testnet or your account.near. You can do this on mainnet and on testnet, and I'll show you how to switch between the two. And then I'm going to run the storage. This utils in the right-hand side has storage to be able to see the storage behind the account. Okay, so you'll see what that looks like for some of these accounts. And we want to get this thanks set up, this application. So on the left hand side, I'm going to build and then deploy thanks to my testnet account. At that point, if you've been following along, you can actually also read the state. If you have NEAR CLI installed, you can actually do this from your computer. It's all public information, by the way. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to, turn on a monitor for my deployed contract, and I'm going to start interacting with the contract. Okay, so that's what we're about to do. It's been about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm explaining it. Now I'm going to get it done, hopefully in the next 5-10 minutes max. So here we go. So let's get over here. And you can still see my screen, right? It's left and right panels. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. How's the font size? Is it okay?
It's a little bit too small.
Yeah. Okay, that's going to be a little bit tricky here because the formatting of these tools is roomy. So I may need to mess around with the formatting a little bit. Let's see how it goes, okay? So now what do I want to do? I'm in this cloned repo called Thanks. It's just in my personal folder on my computer. I'm running a Mac. I've got Node installed, and I've got NEAR CLI installed as a prerequisite. Okay, that's where I'm at. Everybody cool? If you're not sure what I'm doing, that's okay, but we're not going to be able to cover it in the next 5 minutes. Just keep asking. Okay, and if you are comfortable with what I'm doing, like, just keep up, no problem at all. You get the idea, right? It's called NEAR CLI. Do we have a guide? Yeah, I mean, look, Flex, I'm happy to write a guide for you. I've got these pages. If you need more, then I'm happy to make it. So I'm avoiding the temptation to make the perfect guide for everybody until you ask for it. Then I'll make what you need. But before then, you have 40 people in this cohort, maybe 10 of which I'm sure would love to help with any question, and the others might be a little bit too busy or something like that. Yeah, so anyway, maybe that's enough on that. And so now this NEAR CLI, if I just type NEAR, I'll get this. Again, that kind of formatting is a little bit tricky in this width, but it looks something like this, and you can see all these different commands like create account, check state, check the keys. I'm going to play with state and keys right now. NEAR state NEAR state sharif.testnet will report to me that I have an account here. It has 19,000 NEAR on it, funny money on testnet. It has a contract attached to it because of the code hash. So if you're coming from Ethereum, this is different. The accounts, it's like having ENS built in. There's a friendly name like this, .testnet on testnet, .NEAR on mainnet. And this gives you some metadata about that. We can check another contract, NEAR state, maybe amgondo.testnet. I think I have an account there. No. How about ajax.testnet? Yeah, so this account here has no contract installed. An account on NEAR has one or no contracts, 0 or 1 contracts deployed. You make the account, you deploy the contract to it, and then you can call methods on that contract. That's the setup, okay? Yeah, Wong, you have a question? Wong, you have your hand raised? You have a question? Okay, just interrupt me if you end up with a question. So that's NEAR state, and then NEAR keys. You can see here, I have several keys on this testnet account, and these keys are one of 2 types. It's either a full access key here, yeah, 1 contract per account, Adrian, and then you can have sub accounts, and that's what we're about to do, is to deploy the thanks contract to a sub account so that it's thanks.sharif.testnet. I'm about to show you how to do that. Full access keys and function call access keys. Those are the 2 types. On NEAR, there are 8 actions, 4 associated with, identity, create account, delete account, add key, delete key. Those 4 actions. You can see that in our docs, docs.near.org. Create account, delete account, add key, delete key. 2 associated with money, stake and transfer, and 2 associated with code, deploy contract, call function, function call. Okay, those are the 8 things that you can do, the 8 basic things you can do. A REST API, you've got the HTTP verbs, and you've got your CRUD operations. So on NEAR, there's 8 things that you can do. From the outside, you can do them by sending a transaction to the network, and from the inside, you can do them using cross-contract calls. Like one contract can deploy another contract. One contract can add a key to another contract. If that makes sense. So another account. And here the word account and contract is basically the same thing on NEAR, because an account may or may not have a contract deployed to it. Okay, so that's the keys. You can see the keys will be different depending on the account that I'm using. So here's ajax.testnet keys. I may only have a couple of keys here, several full access keys, right? And 1 function call access key. Okay, so that's my keys. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when you say that your name.testnet, is it like a wallet? Because if it is a wallet, then how we are deploying contract in it? So like there's some confusion.
Yeah, no problem. So I think the best thing that I can do is to open here just a browser, and show you that the wallet, this is my sharif.near account. I have 3.9 NEAR.
Can you make it
account? Yeah, sure. The wallet is a web-based interface that keeps my keys inside of local storage on the browser, or I can use the ledger if I want a hardware wallet, something like a ledger, right? The ledger works with NEAR to be able to sign transactions. For any high value wallet, you do that. But I'm not talking about the wallet, I'm talking about accounts. So a wallet is a terrible name for the software that holds your private keys, your secrets, your password that you use for signing transactions, right? That's what a wallet is. Yeah. An account is your name, and an account includes the account name, any data in storage, any contract that's been deployed, any keys that are attached, and several other things. That's an account on NEAR. And if you want to look for a place where you can learn more about this and read the specifications for some of you that maybe want to move more quickly, you can go to the Nomicon here. This is the link to that, and read about the account model with all of the details here that you'll find about the account, different account IDs. Here's the list of data that you find on an account, right? So there's a ton of information here in this Nomicon. This is not the same as our docs. Which is also another great resource. And this is not the same as near.org/learn, which is yet another good resource. So these are maybe the 3 best places for you to start and roll up your sleeves and dig in. So now we're taking a look at this thing, and I want to look at something else now. I want to do, here I can run in yarn storage accounts, collect keys, whatever. I want to run storage. So yarn, storage, and then maybe sharif.testnet and see what that looks like. And this is, some problem because I haven't run yarn yet. The module is not found if you're not familiar with Node. So now I've run yarn or npm install, and now I can run this program. And you see, of course, the formatting is terrible, terrible, terrible. This is what the storage will look like when it's full. Okay, so we're about to do this. If I want to, I can export, this is the environment. If you're not familiar with the environment, I can export an environment variable called near env to be mainnet if I want. And now when I run something like near state sharif.testnet, it'll say, I don't know what you're talking about, but I can look at my mainnet account, and you'll see the 3 near, the 2.9 or whatever near that I have there on this account. So this piece of text is how you set that variable in your terminal. Again, if you're familiar with this stuff, it's obvious to you at this point. If you're not familiar with it, then it's going to take you more than a couple of minutes to figure it out, and that's fine. So now I'm going to run yarn storage, a specific account that I set up this week that has this thanks application on it called thanks.fuzzydice.near, and you'll see that this account on mainnet has a contract deployed with this data in it. This is the account that has this thanks application running. It has an owner. It allows anonymous thank yous. It has received 1 contribution totaling 5 times 10 to the 24, if you can see that. 5 times 10 to the 24. Near is measured in Yocto near. So 10 to the 24 is basically 5 near. And 5 has been transferred actually to Fuzzy Dice. Okay, and this is another account that I control. I'm writing them, something like appreciate you. Okay, so this is the thing that we're about to set up. Okay, so now let's do it. It's going to be a little bit tricky with this kind of sliding back and forth like this, but we can see how it goes. These are all the files. I'm going to run dev deploy first for testnet. Just a time check, we're at 8:30. So I'll deploy the contract here briefly, and then I will show you how we can actually monitor that, how we run the report, and so on. Okay, so let's check it out. So now I'm going to need to npm install or yarn, because I've just cloned this. You saw there's no node modules folder here. So now I've installed dependencies, and I'm going to run scripts dev deploy. this is going to tell me, hey, you're missing the contract and the owner, but I don't care. That's fine. I'm just going to try and delete these two things, and I wasn't able to. Then it's going to clean up this NEAR dev folder for local keys for development. Then it's going to run yarn run build. Yeah, that's great, no problem. Okay, now it's going to redeploy the contract, and we're going to end up with this account ID. So when we're using dev deploy, this is a specific command, dev deploy, that generates an account for us and throws a contract in there. It's a time-stamped account, so we don't need to worry about making our own accounts. So for development, it's super fast. Okay, so this is the account. Let me export. Let me do. What is my NEAR env right now? It needs to be on testnet. No, it's on mainnet. So let me export. You can also unset if you want to clear this thing out. Unset NEAR env. Obviously, maybe you know that already. So export NEAR env equals testnet. Now yarn storage, and I'll put in this dev account that was generated for me, and you'll see here no records found. So there is an account NEAR state, and I can NEAR state, and I can paste this. We'll see there is an account. It does have a contract deployed because it's not all ones. It's not the default code hash. There is a contract deployed. It takes up 30 kilobytes, and there's 200 NEAR on this dev account that was just created by the NEAR CLI command called NEAR dev deploy. And I want to show you here briefly that these scripts are just right here. It's just bash. So here's the dev deploy command, and after I build release, I'm just pulling that down. So these are all very readable. Okay, so there is a contract. There is and there is an account that was just built. There is a contract deployed to this account, and now we want to check out the storage. And we ran it. We got no records found. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run this watch program that's going to maintain visibility on this contract, just like looping. Right. So actually, I could do this with like an export contract equals, and then type that in. And now I can do watch contract. If you see that command, and it's just going to loop now every second, just kind of watching this contract. Okay. Now over here, I'm going to take this export contract equals, and paste that in as well. And then I'm going to copy this command right down here, NEAR call contract. But first I need to set the owner actually. So echo owner is blank. So export owner is maybe sharif.testnet. What's my NEAR environment here? It's blank. So that's the same as testnet. That's fine. I can make it explicit so I don't get confused. And now I'm going to run this command. And when I run this, I want you to keep your eye on the right-hand side of the screen because it's about to light up. So I'm going to run this. Keep your eye on the right-hand side. The transaction's complete. And boom, there it goes. My contract is now initialized. And this is from the blockchain, the serialized object that represents the contract, serialized as JSON. And if you want to see what that looks like on the contract level, I know we're 5 minutes over the demo walkthrough, but for some people who are keeping up, this will save you some time. When you clone thanks, you'll see in the AssemblyScript folder this index.ts. And here, if you look, there's a class called contract. We could have called it banana if we wanted, doesn't matter. Contract. And then there's an owner. Allow anonymous is a Boolean. Contributions. Those are the three sort of members there of this contract. Oh boy. And so here you can see owner, allow anonymous, and contributions. So just to remind you again, owner, allow anonymous, and contributions. Because of NEAR bind gen, this contract can be serialized to JSON on the blockchain. And so when I initialize the contract, its state kind of whips up and it gets serialized on chain. So I'll stop with like the amount of details at this point, but what I want to show you now is that actually I can call this contract. So scripts, say thanks. Thanks so much for being here, and see if that works. I don't think the exclamation point helps in Bash. Missing speaker variable, so export speaker is maybe ajax.testnet. That's another account that I have, and let me try that. On the right-hand side, you should see that method appear, the results of that method. Ajax says, thanks so much for being here with no contribution. Let's try that again, and this time I'm going to add maybe 3 NEAR. And so again, you'll see this contribution gets added, but this time the contributions also lights up. I've just sent money from ajax.testnet, this 3 NEAR contribution. Again, that's 10 to the 24. So that's 3 NEAR, and that gets added here total and received. And if I want to, I can keep going. If I try and do this again with another 3 NEAR, I'll get an error because it's going to look pretty bad, but it's not. The maximum contributions have been reached. Please transfer funds, because we have an assert statement there that is stopping us. Here's that assert statement. Maximum contributions, assert financial safety limits is happening whenever you try and say something to the contract. We're asserting these safety limits in case you decide to go cowboy on me and deploy this to mainnet. I don't want you holding a bunch of money in an account that hasn't been reviewed for security, so it'll stop you. But now, actually, I want to transfer some funds. So let's do NEAR state this is dev account, but I am the owner, Sharif.testnet. So state Sharif.testnet. 19,730 NEAR in this account. Now watch, I'm going to issue a transfer, and then this 3 NEAR is going to show up. It'll be 19,733. Okay, so scripts. We can run a report first, maybe. Here's a report, what it looks like. You'll see, these people have commented. You don't have to do this report. And this is the financial work here. So not forgetting, set 19,000. Let me bring this up again. This number should change to 733. So scripts transfer. That'll transfer to the owner. You'll see the right-hand side received will move to transferred. Okay, so that just happened. And then 19,730 should become 19,733. So that money just got transferred to the owner of the contract. So that's a quick tour of this contract. It's this file here, 100 lines of code, and this file here with some models, for the message and contribution tracker. If you're familiar with JavaScript or TypeScript, this should look like, a good friend that you haven't seen in a while. If you're not familiar with JavaScript or TypeScript, this might be a little bit disorienting for you, but just keep asking questions. And the key piece is, if we look at sort of what did we actually do here? In step 1, I just set up my windows. In step 2, I cloned the repositories. In step 3, on the right-hand side, I played with NEAR state, the NEAR CLI, NEAR keys, NEAR storage to view all this stuff. That's all that happened there, right? And then on the left-hand side, I also ran this, a dev deploy instead of the deploy script. I'll do the deploy script for you now to show you what it looks like to deploy to mainnet and testnet, no problem. And on the right-hand side, I had this watch command watching storage, actually. Yeah, when I run dev deploy, it says missing contract. Yeah, that's right. It'll say that the first time because you don't have that variable. Then what you want to do after that is type export contract equals, and then like the dev, whatever the number is, you want to do that, and that'll be your contract. Not that one, obviously, dev 123, but whatever the one is that you are using. And then here, what we did with this is we just started using the scripts, after this. These scripts here, which you can read about in the README. There's some documentation here that explains all of these things in the README of the repository, which you can go and check out now. Learn-near is the organization. Thanks is the name of the repository. If you want to run this on Linux, Mac, or Windows, we've got some notes down here for you. And so I'm hoping that this has given you kind of a clear sense of what you could be doing with these contracts. Now what I'd like to do is, if anybody wants to take the challenge of actually cloning this repo and deploying a contract to their testnet account, I'd like to send you some tokens. So has anybody done that? Please raise your hand in the Zoom call. You can do it with a little click, I think. I'd like to see how many people have tried to do this. Gosh, I don't know where it is in my interface here, but there's a way to raise your hand. You should be able to click on something to raise hand. Okay, so it looks like Yassine and the gentleman whose name isn't appearing, but you spoke a little bit earlier with the mic on Ubuntu.
Is there a way that we can request for these afterwards?
Request for what?
Request for NEAR? Test NEAR?
I'm
NEAR
sorry,
on
wait,
testnet.
I don't understand what you're. Oh, can you get NEAR on testnet? Yeah, I mean, what you should do is just go to wallet.testnet.near.org, right? Wallet.testnet.near.org, and make an account, and we give you 200 NEAR from the faucet.
Okay. Yeah, I was exactly asking for the
Yeah,
faucet.
wallet.testnet.near.org.
If we can request more.
Yeah, create an account. Oh, request more than 200 NEAR on the testnet. Yeah, if you want to, you can just make dev deploy accounts and delete them with yourself as the beneficiary. That's how I got 20,000 in there just while testing.
Oh, I see. Makes sense.
Yeah, no sweat. Okay, so it looks like Flex 13 is up for a challenge here. So what's actually happening, Flex 13? Do you have any storage? No records found. Near state Flex 13. Do you have a contract deployed? No, you haven't deployed a contract yet. Looks like maker.testnet has something. Have you deployed a contract, Maker? Maker.testnet has not deployed a contract yet. So you've made testnet accounts, but you haven't deployed a contract yet. How do you deploy a contract, right? How do you do that? So you've cloned thanks, for example, and you go to scripts. So first, let me just check here. Scripts, X, deploy, and then we should see here the build, and let me just check. So near env and owner are going to be two important variables that we need with this. So echo near env is testnet, echo owner is sharif.testnet. I'm going to deploy thanks.sharif.testnet. So if I type here near state sharif.testnet, you can see there is an account there, obviously. But if I type near state thanks.sharif.testnet, there's no account. I'm about to deploy one now. Scripts X deploy to testnet is my near env, and sharif.testnet is my owner. Building the contract, deploying the contract, initializing the contract. All of this happens in the script. You can check out the script yourself. We still don't have anything there. We just made the account. So now there is an account, but there's no contract. It's all ones. Now starting deployment, and we've deployed a contract. You see the difference here? All ones versus this code hash for the contract. And the code hash is deterministic. If it's on a, if you compile on the same machine, then you should see it right there. So it looks like Alex has deployed to dev with this, yeah, reboot your brain. Nice, Flex. So you can watch the recording. So I just want to show you, look, near state thanks.sharif.testnet didn't exist. When I ran this script, X deploy, it got created. Then we built the contract, made a sub account here, saved the keys locally, and then deploying the contract. So we made the account, there's no contract deployed. Then we deployed the account right over here. And now you can see there is a contract that's deployed because it's not all ones. The code hash is not all ones. So I know there's a contract deployed. I don't know what the contract is. I can't request the source code. That's something under development still, but I know there's an account there. I know there's a contract there. And so now if I want to, I can run here yarn storage with thanks sharif.testnet. And you'll see it's ready to go. If anybody wants to, from your repository that you've cloned, you can type here, make sure that the contract variable is set to thanks Sharif testnet. Make sure the speaker is set to something that you've locally logged in as. You'll do that with like NEAR login. Hit enter and follow the prompts. And that way you can sign the event with the speaker and make sure NEAR env is testnet. And at that point, you can sign this and actually say hello to me. And I'll see it here. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, so someone looks like they deployed to thanks at YS24. Okay, great. Let's give that a shot. So here we go. Thanks YS24. Fantastic. Thanks YS24. Let me just say thank you by changing the speaker to sharif.testnet, because I'm about to give you a big thank you for taking on this challenge. And I'm going to say thanks with nice work, totally awesome. Here is, I don't know what, 5,000 NEAR. Okay. Oh, too much. It's limited to 5 NEAR. Sorry about that. So here's 5 NEAR. Thank you. So, oh, wait a second. Sorry about that. The contract was set to my dev deploy. That would have been so funny to send that NEAR. Yeah, so here's 5 NEAR for you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Okay, we should see that on the right-hand side. On your side, ys24.testnet, you can run the report and you'll see the data. Okay, so this was a quick demo. It's all recorded. Hopefully it's useful. I'm more than happy to do this again for you, right? So as a teacher, my patience runs deep. So please be selfish, ask again. You can watch the recording. You can hit me up DM. I can join your group and give you a one-on-one demo where you ask all the things that you want. I have no problem committing much more time outside of these windows of meetings if you want an hour with your team or something like that, but please help me scale. Let's not have a 1 hour one-on-one meeting. Schedule something with your team. Send me a request on Discord. Can we meet for 30 minutes? Can we meet for an hour? Can you go over the demo? Can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? You'll find I'm incredibly generous. If I can give up the time to help you this week, I will do it, because the only thing that matters is that you perform as best as you possibly can by Friday. So is there a way to run the scripts in Windows? Look, I just have to tell you right now, Windows is going to be a challenge. You might want to run like Ubuntu in some virtual machine or something like that on Windows. If anybody has a Windows machine with some suggestions, please help. This is a perpetual challenge, is running these scripts on Windows. Obviously, some of these bash scripts are written specifically for kind of a Linux compatible environment, the way that I'm testing the environment variables with the -z and all that stuff. If you are familiar with writing shell script on Windows, you want to rewrite some of these for Windows users, you're more than welcome to do that. All right. Okay, so yeah, VirtualBox, awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, so listen, I just want to end this on just the most kind of positive note that we can possibly end this on, which is thank you so much for deciding to do this with us. I am certain that the last 30 minutes has been completely overwhelming for most of you. Maybe 1 or 2 people are still tracking. Welcome, good for you. It's your responsibility, if you're keeping up, to help others, just like it is mine. Decide that you're going to help other people catch up with you. And if you have a question, if you're disoriented, it's your responsibility also to demand the help that you need. I want to be super clear about that. No one's going to come and save you. You're going to save yourself. And we're here to help. Okay? Okay, awesome.